guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. Welcome to Educated Minds. Welcome to One Africa. This is the channel where we bring to you all the updates of what is happening on the continent for sure. 100% sure our news and whatever information we shall be bringing to you is actually what is happening in the continent. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, do also to subscribe and hit that notification bell so that whenever I upload new and interesting videos, whenever I bring to you updates, you always will be notified. Okay, I'm Daniel, your host, as usual. What we shall be talking about today, our agenda for today, we shall be talking about what's happening in Uganda. A possibility, a probability of the Uganda International Airport, the Entebbe Airport, being confiscated or better still being hijacked by the Chinese multinational bank on basis of a loan that was given to the Ugandan government, and this airport was some sort of a collateral. All right, so today we are going to actually look at this situation. We are going to analyze it from a perspective of an international analyst, and we shall see perhaps the loopholes during this loan and what it could mean, what we will learn from it, and what all Africans must know, especially the people of Uganda. All right, so stay tuned. I'm your host as usual, Daniel, and like I said once more, if you haven't subscribed, do well to subscribe and hit that notification bell so that whenever I upload new videos, you will be also notified. So let's ride on today. A brief introduction for our viewers around the world. Uganda is actually a third world country. It's a small country with a middle economy, and it's based in East Africa. It's based in East Africa, not very populated. It has probably a population of 1.3 to 1.4 million people. Okay, and majority of these people, they are daily living. What they do is farming. So they basically have a livelihood from farming. Okay, agricultural sector is that which is really prosperous in that country. So, in terms of income, Uganda really doesn't have some financial stability. The economy is not the best. It's not the best actually. Why? Because, like I told the majority of the people, they have their livelihood from farming, and the resources that they have, they are not very valuable. They have gold, they have phosphate, as well as they have things like iron that are being mined both by local and international companies. All right, but whatever be the case, they've been ruled for over 35 years now by someone I would consider a dictator, His Excellency Museveni, who came to power by overthrowing Idi Amin some about 36 years ago. So he's been in power and he's been overlooking whatever is happening in that country, whatever state the country seems to be today. It actually depends on the policies and strategies that have been implemented by this man and his government. All right, not to digress too much, but to stay a little bit more focused on our subject matter for today, we shall go straight to the point, which is actually what? It is the loan that the Uganda government took from a Chinese multinational in 2015. So this is it. Sometime in 2015, the Ugandan government came up with a bill, they came up with a proposal, which was approved in their National Assembly, which was actually to modify their own international airport, the Entebbe Airport. All right. In Uganda, this is the only means through which people or even goods will come in and out of that country. All right. Both their import and export, they use this airport as their own means of transportation. Why? Because it's a landlocked country, meaning that they are not blessed to have access to the Pacific or the Mediterranean. So there is no seaport. All right, so ship cannot be harbored in Uganda. You understand? So both their goods and services, they will always go in and out of that country only through this airport. So the government said, why don't we renovate our airport? Why don't we upgrade it to the world standard so we could get more business partners and it could attract more airlines? So it was voted for, it was approved and second, and the people say, all right, let's go for it. But then they had a problem, they had an obstacle, which was actually financing the project. So the project per se, to my opinion, it was a good one. All right, renovation seems to be a problem in Africa, and maintenance of our project as well. Many projects we've seen that were constructed, but to maintain them, it's a problem. So with time, they dilapidate, okay? The original standard which they were constructed or made, they cannot keep up to it. So the government said, all right, so let's renovate it. But, well, is the money coming from? Where is the financing coming from? Where do they get the income to do whatever they want to do? And that is where we are going today, and that is where it becomes a big deal. Now, just like many other third world countries or many other African countries, when they have a project, they will always seek for what is known as foreign aid. Alright? And if they are not getting the foreign aid, they will seek for foreign loan. So, the Uganda government, they have this good relationship with a Chinese multinational, a bank that is on import and export in China. It's known as the Exim Bank. Alright, it has financed a couple of projects in Uganda, might be roads, infrastructure, construction, skyscrapers, and so on, just to name a few. So actually, they've been getting financial aid from this company, not just aid per se, but loans. Alright, and it was but usual that this time again they met them and extended hands to them and say, you know what, we've got this project that's on the pipeline. Can you give us some money? We do it, and later on we refund to you. And for them, it was not big deal. The bank said, well, just like any other time, we will give you this money, but under certain conditions and criteria. And this time around, it was quite strict. The criteria and conditions for this loan were that which I will consider a death trap, and that is the core of the whole incident. All right. Now let's look at it. They said, how much do you need? And Uganda government said, we need something like 207 million US dollars. And I said, all right, that's fine. We've got the money, we've got the capital, we could give it to you, but under these strict terms. And one of the first terms that the Exim Bank of China, they brought forth to the Uganda government was to do something which they call the waiving of the international influence, all right, or interference, or immunity, meaning that what? The international community, international organizations cannot actually interfere in the terms of this loan, even if at all one party decides to default. You understand? So, once the Exim Bank mentioned as such, if I were to be might be a personnel of high ranking in the Uganda government, I should have thought twice. Because if at all you want to give me a loan and you are not thinking of something fishy, why would you want to waive international interference or immunity per se? Knowing that this is a national asset, all right? It's not a private company. It's a national asset we are talking about here. So, that was the first condition that was given to the Uganda government. Secondly, they gave them a time to pay the loan. They said you will pay this loan within 20 years and a 7 years grace period. Meaning that within 20 years, actually, the Uganda government were to fulfill the terms of this loan. They should have returned the capital or the money that they collected from this bank. And if they do not, they will give them additional 7 years grace period. All right? And they ought to have started paying the money by 2022. So they took the loan in 2015, and from 2022, they ought to have started paying what? The capital sum that they took from this bank, which is 207 million US dollars. Now, just to expatiate a little and fill up your curiosity, perhaps you will have to answer me these questions in the comment section. Why is it that the Uganda government didn't reach to any other bank in Africa? Is it that we don't have many other banks in Africa that have this huge amounts of money and could lend it to the Uganda government? Why is it that majority of our African leaders, when they are in need, of course, it's but normal, we know that once in a while you could be in need, but why don't you reach out to another African bank or another African nation as a brother and say, you know what, I got this project, can you, could you lend me some money, could you be of help to me? Alright? Why is it that each time African nations will have such projects of this caliber, they will have to run, if they are not running to maybe the World Bank, then they are running to their counterparts in the Western world. If it's not America, perhaps it's the great UK. If not, maybe to Germany and the West. And this time around, you know what? For decades and decades, we've seen Africans changing their direction, all right? Their compass is moving towards China these days. It is why, because Chinese make it very easy. They make it very easy for them. It was a death trap, like I said, and we are still explaining the conditions under which this loan was taken to prove to you that actually the Chinese knew what they were doing. You understand? So actually you have an airport, and then the income that comes out from this airport, you cannot have access to it because what? You are indebted to a foreign bank, which the income that comes or flows from this airport, it has to be channeled through that account which belongs to the bank, to your debtor. Alright? So if you also will have to analyze this condition, tell me what you think in the comment section. Was it wise enough for the Uganda government to actually, take this loan? If you were a part, might be a high personnel in the government, should you have actually agreed that this loan was a wise one? Nevertheless, they took the loan, and as at now, it's almost 7 years, 2022 presently, and they haven't been able to fulfill the basic terms of this loan. I'm talking about the Uganda government, and you know what? They are facing already pressure from the Chinese multinational or the Exim Bank. That what? You know what? You have to pay this loan. It's time. We gave it since 2015, and it's 2022 now. The 7 years of grace period is almost coming to an end. So you should start doing something. All right? And it's as though the Uganda government is awake from asleep, and they said, but come on, we have to start paying these people. If not, our national assets will be grabbed. And they sent a delegation to China to go plead on their behalf. But guess what? When they reached there, the Chinese, like they always do, they gave them deaf ears. They were not interested. What they tell them is, go sort it out there and, come on, pay our money. We need this money also. All right? Knowing fully well that Uganda was a third world country, as a matter of fact, their economy is not sufficient enough to carry loans of this caliber. All right? The Chinese gave them, actually, we've seen this trend in so many countries. They gave them this money as a death trap. All right, we've seen this trend or these trademarks even in Sri Lanka, which is an Asian country, where a seaport has been confiscated by the Chinese government. All right, for failure to pay loans, for failure to meet with the terms and requirements of lending money from them. So it has also happened in many other African countries. It is time Africans should think twice before getting money from China or from foreign bodies. As a matter of fact, even if they are not collecting our national assets, there is always a plan B for the, for the big shark, if I might say so in the quotes, because China claims it's a big shark in Africa. All right, if they are not collecting our national assets, what then do they tend to do? They will go to our mining fields, to our resources, and in one way or the other, they must get their money back. All right, so Uganda hasn't got much of resources as perhaps they expected. They have just some little gold and some copper and things of this sort. But whatever be the case, we are regretting on behalf of them. And I am doing this video to also say to our brothers and sisters in Uganda, we are watching closely what is happening down there. We are with you. We say courage to you. And if at all you feel that your government has failed you, it is time for the youth to take the stage. All right, it is time for the youths of Africa, to take the futures into their hands, because if we keep on depending on those who are perhaps state personnel, those who are our government and our president, man, honestly speaking, whatever they do, it seems as if they are doing it for themselves and not for their masses. All right, how can you have been in power for 35 years and there is nothing to show for it other than taking the 200 million that it reaches the national asset? Okay, so you see that Uganda actually is bringing to us a scenario that all of us as Africans, we should learn from it. All right? I mean, we should learn from it. Majority of all African countries must be awake. All right? If Africa is sleeping, it is time for the sleeping giant to get awake. Anyway, not to stress that much, we shall bring you more updates of different details and whatever is happening in the continent. We shall, get our continent back and bring it to that state which we so much desire. We want to see an industrialized Africa. We want to see an Africa that is self-sufficient enough, an Africa that is self-reliant and that which produces and consumes what it produces. All right? So that's it for today, and I shall keep updating. If you haven't subscribed, do well to subscribe, and as I said equally, hit that notification bell so that whenever I bring new videos, you always will be notified. Ciao for now, and see you some other time. Bye.